Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Praetor YouTube channel, and today we're going to be checking out the final DLC episode of Digimon Story Time Stranger. This episode will be introducing the X-Antibody Digimon and 5 of the Royal Knights. Now, I'm throwing out a bunch of terms like X-Antibodies and Royal Knights, so I will add some context to let some of you new viewers to Digimon on the know. So, in the digital world, there are 3 host computers who rule their respective domains. These host computers are Homeros, King Drazel, and Kunlun. Homeros rules the digital world of Iliad, which this game takes place in. King Drazel's world doesn't have a name, but it's the primary digital world where all the animes happen in. And Kunlun rules Shambhala, which there's not too much information on that world. Now we'll focus on King Drazel and its followers, the Royal Knights, who serve King Drazel. They are Omnimon, Jesmon, Genkulmon, Dynasmon, Lord Knightmon, Magnamon, Allforce Vidramon, Examon, Leopardmon, Carnimon, Cantorusmon, Gallantmon, and Alphamon, and they do network security for King Drazel. Now this DLC will give 5 of the Royal Knights their X-Antibody forms: Omnimon X, Jesmon X, Magnamon X, Allforce Vidramon X, and Gallantmon X. Most likely, we're going to end up fighting all of them in Parallelmon at the end. Also, let me know down in the comments down below, out of the 13 Royal Knights that I showed off, which one is your favorite? And out of the 5 that got their X-Antibody forms, do you prefer their regular forms or their X-Antibody forms? Now, I've thrown around the term X-Antibody, and some of you may be asking, Praetor, what the heck is an X-Antibody? And that is an excellent question that I shall answer. So, in King Drazel's domain, the digital world's population is getting too big, and King Drazel decides that the best course of action is genocide. So, King Drazel unleashes the X program that will kill most Digimon. However, some Digimon are able to develop immunity to the X program, and this antibody allows Digimon who have it to attain more power and digivolve even further into their X forms. All of the Royal Knights have X forms, but this DLC only gives 5 of the Royal Knights their X forms. We enter a big white room where Omnimon X and Dorumon are being confronted by Parallelmon, and Parallelmon unleashes his attack that knocks us out. We later wake up next to Omnimon X and Dorumon. They explain how they ended up in this weird time space. Omnimon explains how they were separated from 4 other Digimon, and we agree to team up and find the other 4 Digimon to defeat Parallelmon. We enter a door that takes us to a coffee shop where we meet Dr. Simmons and Asuma, 2 characters from the base game but from a different world. They join us and we enter through another door that takes us to Heat Cosmic and at the foot of Apollomon's throne. We make our way through the area until we find Jesmon X and Magnamon X beating up Digimon, so we enter battle to make them stop. Now I want to give a swift breakdown of Digimon battles and how they work. There are 3 types of Digimon: Vaccine, Data, and Virus, and they work in a rock, paper, scissors format. Vaccine beats Virus, Virus beats Data, and Data beats Vaccine. There's also elemental resistances and weaknesses that help deal more damage. There's also Digimon traits that help them deal more damage. For example, with War Greymon deals more damage to Digimon with a Dragon trait. So if you have the type, the elemental, and the trait advantage, expect to deal huge damage in Digimon battles. I entered the battle with all Virus Digimon because Jesmon X is a Data type, but Magnamon X surprised me. Normally Magnamon is a free type, and free types don't interact with the 3 main types, but Magnamon X gets the Vaccine type when it becomes an X antibody, so my team is at a disadvantage against Magnamon X. I start off the battle by using CrossArt's High Field, which buffs all my Digimon stats. Then I swap out Black War Greymon for Leopardmon, since Leopardmon is a Data type and has a Dark move that'll be really effective against Magnamon. Beelzemon gets a good shot off on Jesmon, and with Judamon I set off counters where if Judamon is hit with a physical move, Then she'll counter with a dark move that will deal damage to both Jessamon and Magnamon. Both of them attack Junimon, and I get 2 graceful lances off to deal damage. Then Omnimon uses his attack All Delete, and then the battle is over. Jessamon and Magnamon reveal to us that they view the X program as a good thing and that it's killing off all unnecessary Digimon. Then they fly off and we enter through another door. We are thrown into the Gear Forest where we find All-Force Vidramon X and Gallantmon X, and they are surrounded by Tiger Vespamon. We enter battle to help, and my Jupitermon makes quick work of the Tiger Vespamon. But instead of being thankful, both All-Force Vidramon and Gallantmon are upset at us for attacking the Tiger Vespamon. These two wish to stop the X program that is destroying their world at any cost, and they call Omnimon a coward for not acting fast enough to stop the program. They fly off, and we're left with 2 Digimon factions that we're trying to unite. This should be fun. Then we enter through another door where both factions have encountered each other and they are arguing. Omnimon is like, guys, can we just team up for like 2 seconds to defeat Parallelmon so that we can go back home and then solve our differences?
No.
But both factions tell him to shut up, and then they go off into separate doors to find Parallelmon. So we chase after Gallantmon and All-Force Vidramon, and basically all that happens here is that we see a bunch of flashbacks from Dr. Simmons and Asuna, and there was another scientist who stole data that they had on Parallelmon. Both All-Force Vidramon and Gallantmon overhear this, and they decide to find the stolen data before we do. Then we find Jessamon and Magnamon, and they explain to us how they want to harness Parallelmon's power to travel space-time to carry out the process of natural selection more efficiently. Man, these two are really messed up. Alright, I'm going to skip until the next fight because it's just boring dialogue for like 30 minutes and the raw recording of this video is an hour and a half, so I want to make this watchable. So anyways, Jessamon and Magnamon find the scientists with the stolen data first, so we enter battle with Jessamon and Magnamon again. So, I start out the battle with Jupitermon, Dianamon, and Beelzemon on the field. I swap out Jupitermon for Junimon so I can have 2 virus types focus on Jessamon, who is a data type. I have Junimon set up counters, and Dianamon focus on Magnamon, and Beelzemon focuses on Jessamon. Doremon provides support by buffing my team with defense, and Omnimon attacks both with All Delete and the Supreme Cannon. Jessamon is the first to go down, and then shortly thereafter, Junimon uses her Needle Hive attack to take down Magnamon. But right after we take down those two, All-Force Vidramon and Gallantmon show up and try to steal the Parallelmon data, so now it's time to fight the other 2 Royal Knights. Gallantmon is a virus type, so I swap out Junimon for Jupitermon, who is a vaccine type, and then I buff all my team stats using High Field, and the Jupitermon goes first with a wide plasmid to get some good damage. I am able to get All-Force Vidramon low with attacks from Leopardmon and Dianamon since they are data types and All-Force Vidramon is a vaccine type. However, Gallantmon has taunted my team so that only I can target him, and he puts up a barrier that reflects physical attacks. I see a way to take down All-Force Vidramon with Jupitermon, since his attack Wide Plasmid bypasses the taunt since it hits all targets on the field. So Jupitermon takes down All-Force Vidramon, but the Reflect also one-shots Jupitermon. So now it's just Gallantmon, and I use an item to revive Jupitermon. I swap out Leopardmon for Junimon, and swap out Dianamon for Jupitermon, and I brought out Susanamon when Jupitermon was defeated just moments ago. We eventually whittle down Gallantmon's health, and Junimon once again finishes the battle with Needle Hive, and we have defeated both factions of the Royal Knights. Both factions quickly recover and then start fighting over the Parallelmon data, and then Parallelmon himself shows up and fires off an attack to take out the Royal Knights and the data in one shot. The Royal Knights don't notice this at first, and poor little Darumon runs headfirst into the attack and gets blasted like Kaiba with Exodia. Then Parallelmon runs off, and Omnimon is furious at the other Royal Knights that their stupid ideals and positions have gotten an innocent Digimon killed. Dorumon has a sad death scene until a blue light emerges from Dorumon, and then he warp digivolves into his mega form.
Dorumon.
I could hear all your voices. Your scattered hearts have come together as one.
The 13th member of the Royal Knights, Alphamon. So with hope renewed, Scooby and the gang track down Parallelmon, and it's time for the final battle. So this final battle was a real drag because Parallelmon has two barriers that reduce incoming damage, and pretty much my team that I picked to counter him does basically nothing. However, Parallelmon summons two Daru Greymon to fight with him, and the gimmick of this fight is to defeat the Daru Greymon, and Parallelmon will slowly grow weaker the more Daru Greymon you beat. But Daru Greymon is a data type, and I swapped out all my virus types for vaccine types to beat Parallelmon, and this is quite a situation I found myself in. So slowly but surely my team defeats more and more Daru Greymon, and Parallelmon is now weak to my powerful vaccine types, but Parallelmon uses a move called Character Reversal on all four Speedramon, which means their types are now switched. Parallelmon becomes a vaccine type, and all four Speedramon becomes a virus type. So now I have to switch to my only two data types in my team, Leopardmon and Dianamon, to deal good damage to Parallelmon. I take down one more Daru Greymon, and Parallelmon is now low enough to be finished off, so one arrow of Artemis from Dianamon is all that it takes to finish off this slugfest of a fight. This fight was like 20 minutes long, and I just summed it up in like under a minute. Parallelmon runs away, and now it is time for us to say goodbye to the Royal Knights, Dr. Simmons, and Asuna. We all bid farewell to each other, and that is the conclusion of this DLC. Thank you all for watching this video, and I hope that you found it enjoyable. If you are new to Digimon, I hope that this video made a good impression on the franchise. Digimon Story Time Stranger is an excellent starting point for those who want to get into the wonderful world of Digimon, and I cannot recommend this game enough. Again, thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, and share this video. And with all that being said, God bless you all and have a great day.